The cub screamed. A sharp, tearing sound that split the dawn open. Grass thrashed around him. The air tightened. A black ribbon of scales slid through the stalks, hood rising and falling like a small, hateful shadow. The cub sprawled in the dust, legs trembling, pinned by panic. His wide eyes fixed on the mamba with one frantic plea. Not yet. His mother froze at the rim of that danger. Gold muscles trembled beneath her fur. She watched the distance between them like a debt she could never pay. One step too close, and the mamba would strike with the speed of a falling blade. One retreat, and vultures circling above would finish the story. She paced once. Twice. Night had drained into morning while she kept vigil, the sun only a pale smear on the plain. The cub whimpered, weaker now, and something inside her broke. Then a metallic clang cracked across the grasslands. A gate. The human kind of sound. Sharp, careless, and alive. Her head snapped up. She turned from the snake and ran, not toward cover, but toward the fence that divided her world from theirs. She ran stripped of pride, driven by instinct and desperation alone. At gate 3, Owen Miller paused mid-sip. The roar he heard wasn't territorial. It carried urgency, a tremor of fear beneath the sound. He set the mug down so fast it rattled. He ran for the gate, boots hitting the dirt in fast, clipped strides. As he reached the fence line, he froze. Sola stood in the road beyond it, framed by settling dust and the pale edge light of morning. No pacing. No stalking. Just waiting. Her chest heaved. She looked toward the plains, then back to the fence, as if torn between fleeing and staying. Maya caught up to him, breath sharp. That's Sola. Jonas's truck screeched in behind them, gravel spraying. He jumped out before the engine fully stopped. The three of them moved together toward the gate, instinct, training, and urgency folding into one motion. None of them had ever seen a lioness come to a gate without hostility. Owen lifted his binoculars. In the grass beyond her lay a small, shaking shape, a cub. And nearby, a flash of black, a hood swaying like a dark banner. Black mamba, he muttered. His throat tightened with a memory he tried not to visit. A young ranger he couldn't reach in time. Sola held herself rigid, eyes flicking between them and the plains. She wasn't guarding. She was pointing. They acted fast. Horn? Owen said. Maya fired the air horn across the field. Two small mambas slithered away in a furious wave of scales. But the largest one stayed. Its hood rose higher, tongue flicking, body coiling in a perfect, patient spiral. The cub whimpered and tried to flatten himself deeper into the grass. Jonas swallowed hard. Big one's not budging. Owen crouched by the fence and grabbed a handful of gravel. Come on. Look at me. He threw the stones. They hit dirt with a dull patter. The snake didn't move. He threw harder. A pebble struck the ground near its tail. Still nothing. Then the cub cried. A tiny, broken sound. The mamba struck. Sola leapt forward in a burst of gold. She hit the snake with a roar that shook dust from the earth. The mamba whipped sideways, tail slicing across her shoulder in a razor-bright arc. She twisted, claws ripping through scales. A final snap, and the serpent collapsed into stillness. The grass settled around them. Sola stood panting, blood bright on her shoulder. The cub pressed into her chest with a trembling nuzzle. Owen's pulse hammered. She's wounded. Jonas lifted the tranquilizer rifle, but his hand shook. Owen? She's losing blood. Owen said. Trank her. Now. The dart sliced the air and struck her flank. Sola blinked once, twice, then crumpled beside her cub. Her head lay in the dust, eyes fluttering between awareness and darkness. The cub pawed frantically at her muzzle, letting out soft, panicked cries. They sprinted to her. The vet truck rolled to a halt, dust gripping its tires. Dr. Kira Novu jumped down, medcase in hand. "Where?" "Shoulder," Owen said. "Tail cut." "She's fading." Kira knelt and brushed the fur aside. A thin red slash glistened. "It's shallow. Just a surface cut. She'll be all right if we clean it fast." She cleaned the wound quickly. The cub crawled forward and buried his nose against Sola's neck. Sola's head shifted faintly toward him, a fragile gesture of reassurance. Kira worked with swift, practiced movements. Saline disinfectant, anti-venom protocol. Maya passed supplies with tense, clipped motions. Jonas kept watch, scanning the grass with the rifle balanced across his knees, jaw tight. Wind pressed against them, carrying vultures' wing beats and the restless laughter of a hyena somewhere unseen. When Kira stitched the wound, Sola's chest rose sharply, one strained breath. Her tail tapped the ground in a slow, rhythmic beat, brushing against Owen's boot, then Maya's trembling hand. Not a warning, not fear, acceptance. "Why come to us?" Maya whispered. "Why risk this?" Owen watched Sola's ribs move, shallow, then steadier. "Because she remembered," he said quietly. "Animals don't forget who helps them." Kira paused mid-bandage, her voice softer, "And they don't trust easily." She continued working, more careful now. They worked until sweat mixed with dust. The cub kept lifting his head to press it against Sola's cheek, as though reminding her to stay. Finally Sola's breathing deepened. Slow and steady. Kira leaned back. "She's stabilizing." Owen closed his eyes for a long breath. By dusk, the plains were painted in long amber shadows. Sola stirred. Her eyes opened, dim at first, then sharper. She looked at Owen. He took one small step back, hands open. "Easy," he murmured. "You're all right." Her gaze held him, not threatening, not pleading, simply seeing him. The cub let out a soft cry and pressed against her. Sola lowered her head, breathing him in. With effort, she pushed herself upright. Her legs trembled. She swayed once, then found balance. She limped to the boundary of the fence, paused and lifted her chin to the humans who had encircled her with quiet mercy. A breeze tugged at her blood-stained fur. Owen felt something settle in his chest, an ache shaped like gratitude. Sola turned, gathered her cub gently into her jaws, and walked into the grass. Not fleeing. Not hiding. Returning. They watched until the plane swallowed her. The drive back was quiet. Each ranger carried their own reflection. Jonas thinking of the thin line between certainty and luck. Maya thinking of the cub's tiny head under Sola's chin. Kira thinking of the almost mistake her hands had nearly made before. And Owen, replaying the moment Sola looked at him, as if recognizing the part of him that still believed in second chances. A low call drifted across the ridge, distant, steady and alive. Not warning. Not fear. A promise. A week later, Sola's tracker pinged. She had crossed a river and returned to hunting territory. The pulse on the monitor was strong. Alive. Owen kept the used bandage in his glove compartment, its faint scent of iodine and dust a quiet reminder of a line crossed, where wild and human touched without taking. One night, when the fire in camp had burned to embers, a lion's call rolled across the plains. Long, low, and certain. It didn't sound broken. It sounded like a memory. Like survival. Like trust.